The problem with this phenomena, Islamists and Hamas and Islamic Jihad and the cause for Palestine, what they don't understand, that violence is a dead end. Mm-hmm. Even if they succeed in eliminating, let's say, their enemies, they will turn against each other. This is the reality. Like, for example, all this Islamic hatred towards the non-Muslims. They want to convert the rest of the world to Islam. And if the people don't submit to their religion or to their belief system, they are entitled or they are authorized to kill those who don't obey. So let's say they succeed in their goal. What will happen after? Who are they going to kill next? They will kill each other.
Yeah.
This is the only outcome of this. And by the way, when I say this, not because I'm a prophet and I can see the future, simply because I studied the history, the Islamic history. And basically, the Islamic history is full of the Islamic failure. Mm-hmm. That they achieved their Islamic Khilafah. They shed lots of blood to achieve that goal. And once they were crowned as caliphs, they began to kill each other.
This is the ironic thing. If, for example, by some supernatural, I don't know, reason or something, all Israelis, all Jews suddenly disappeared from the entire region, but everything that they built was left exactly as it is. What would happen the next day is that Hamas would start claiming everything and fighting the other factions, and it would result in a civil war and a destruction of the region, right?
Well, you don't need to think about it twice. This is, Earth is vast. Mm-hmm. They have been given the same opportunity, the same land, the same potential, under the same sun. When heaven reigns, it does not differentiate or say this is Jewish and this is Arab. It gives equally to everybody. There is a society that succeeded in developing the land, and the other society stayed in victimhood, lazy, mm-hmm. blaming, and they never developed the land. Mm-hmm. And now they are attracted not because of the land, because of the development, because of the achievement, the success. This is a universal problem, by the way. We had movements here in the United States that say, Occupy Wall Street. And of course, they think that building civilization is coincidental, that people were lucky, and there are some people who are unlucky. They don't want to accept reality, that everyone is the legitimate creator of their own destiny, of their own life. And we build it. Mm-hmm. If I build it, if I am the creator, then I have the authority to be the destroyer. Mm-hmm. I construct it. If I own it, if I am the creator, then I am the destroyer. Mm-hmm. It's up to me. Yep. But those who did not take part in the creation don't have the authority to mess with my creation. So Israel has been created, and Tel Aviv is a very advanced city. Mm-hmm. Gaza could have been Tel Aviv, could have been even more advanced if they wanted to do that. But that requires lots of freedom. That requires lots of sacred work. That requires discipline. That requires vision. That requires to be anchored in the universal truth, in humility, in submission and determination, resilience to build and to create. These are the qualities of creators. But to sit around and wait and say, hey, I want equal opportunity. What do you mean by equal opportunity? You have it.
Yeah.
You have the same potential. So this entire fight and hatred towards Israel, it's a matter of jealousy. It's self-hatred. And it's the denial. And it's the attempt to escape the failure. And there is no way to escape the failure. And those who don't accept failure, they can never find success.
You bring up a good point, which I talked about before, which is that there are no excuses. In Gaza was autonomous. They had their own governance. They had the means. They had everything. Of course, they had a temporary blockade because it was problematic, but within the means that they had, they could have turned the place into a wonderful place if that was actually their goal. However, they focused on victimhood and fighting. And this is where we are now. It's all destroyed. Was it really worth it?
Why Israel today cannot allow Hamas to succeed or to get away with their crime on October 7? Because this means that they are igniting the bloodlust in the entire Arab and Muslim world. And they want to just make it very clear to everybody that the Jewish blood is not allowed. And it's, the Jews are not there to be hunted for sport. This is not a game. They are a significant part of the human family.
Yeah.
And it's not up to the Arabs or to the Muslims or Palestinians or Nazis or anti-Semites or people in the East or in the West to decide the fate of a nation that long for life. That is, and by the way, name how many nations are out there that actually lived for thousands of years. This small nation of some 15 to 20 million people are resilient to time. 5,000 years of evolution. And they maintain to stay a small minority throughout the centuries against so many attempts to annihilate them. And they survived. It's a miracle. Israel is a miracle, the biggest miracle of all time.
It is very, very admirable.
And to just dedicate one's life to annihilate such people. For what? Why don't you get inspired by these people? Exactly. Why don't you learn something from them and their resilience? They are the symbol of life against so many odds. And yes, if you allow Hamas and the other savages, even if you allow some newly indoctrinated Americans to harass the Jewish people, to abuse the Jewish people, things will develop very, very fast and it becomes a Holocaust again. And this is what we have been warning from the beginning of the war. Now with the social media transcending all the political borders and invading the Americans at home and at campuses, dividing the country, spreading hateful ideology based on the victim narrative, where within no time they started as anti-war activists. Now then they became pro-Palestine, then suddenly became anti-Israel, then now they are becoming Nazis. Yeah. And this is in less than a year. All this repetition of victim propaganda based on the Gaza tragedy, which all of us know that war is ugly and civilian casualty and the collateral damage. And these people now, they choose to be the victim. And worse than those who identify with the victim, the ones who identify as the saviors, to pose as the savior of the Gaza children. On one hand, pushing the violent ideology. On the other hand, to complain when there is civilian casualty. Well, you are the cause, but you are not aware of it. When they say free Palestine, they literally mean free Palestine. They want free stuff. They want free items.
Yeah.
They want free everything. That includes free country. I am supposed to go and build the country for them out of gold and represent it to their majesty while they sit in comfort, dwelling in laziness, doing nothing. This is what free Palestine means, because Palestine never existed as a country. It has never been occupied. And to say free something that does not exist, like free Santa, or like free Wakanda, there is no difference. Then to accuse Israel, the indigenous of the land, with overwhelming evidence of their existence, more than any other nation on earth, not only in the region, of being colonizers, being invaders, being white supremacists, accusing them of apartheid, while the Arab community in Israel demonstrate their democratic rights. We have them in a Supreme Court. We have them in a police force. We have them in the intelligence. We have them in the university. We have them as doctors, as lawyers. They are a very important part of the social fabric. 2 million of them, they started as just a couple of 100,000, and today there are 2 million of them, and they are decent citizens of the state of Israel. They would never trade their Israeli citizenship for any Arab national identity. And to go and say Israel is an apartheid state, or to say there is ethnic cleansing, but we tell them, how can you explain the demographic growth? Where did it come from? Did they import these people? They kept their homes. They did not escape during the war. And who was it fault? Who asked them to leave their houses and escape? It was the Arab armies. Yep. The Arab armies told the Arabs in Judea, Samaria, and the land of Israel to evacuate, because they did not want to differentiate between Jew and Arab when they invade. They just wanted to literally wipe out everybody in that land when they came. This was their intention in 1967, but miraculously they lost the war. The Arabs who left hoping that they're going to return after the Jews being killed in the land, they never returned. And this is where we had the refugee problem. It's not that Israel forced them out of their lands. The Arabs who stayed in their homes, they are still in their homes until today, and they're multiplied. So this means we don't have the issue of ethnic cleansing. Then they accuse of genocide. All these allegations are based, it's not only nonsense, it's actually false accusations. They're serious accusations. And it's leading to more violence. False narrative eventually lead to violence.
Why value stupid ideologies and death instead? I've heard the phrase from so many Islamists and others, Islamist groups, from Hamas members, which is, we love death like you love life. That's what they say to Israel, what they say to Jews.
Yeah, well, they think it's bravery.
Yeah.
You know, they think the bravest position of an individual is actually not to be afraid of death.
Yeah.
Not realizing that the fear of life is much greater than the fear of death. And those who actually praise life against so many challenges and against the human suffering, and they fight the good fight, those are the ones who refine and integrate. It's like gold. You purify it with fire. Then they become into gods. Not only light unto the nation, but lights like stars in the universe. But in order to integrate to that level of consciousness, you must fight the good fight with patience, with power, anchored in the truth, in tolerance, not through violence, not through intimidation, not to say, hey, I'm brave, I'm not afraid of dying. Then die. You already did. You already did. I invite you to come to life and fight the good fight and take responsibility. Life is all about taking responsibility. Freedom is all about taking responsibility. There is no freedom if there is no responsibility. And these people say free, free Palestine. They want freedom, but they don't want to take responsibility.
Yeah.